All right. I'm gonna let you know. Today was one of those days. I was tired over the weekend, so training today was already kind of difficult. So I'm keeping my eyes awake, but still showed up for myself. So for this trade, we got 7 o'clock a.m. opening up pretty high, opened up higher. So I wanted to wait that first 30 minutes to let price give me some data, something to work with. So it created its first primary buy side liquidity of the day at 7:15, and it came close to taking it out or touching it or sweeping it, but never did and got rejected. It's kind of crazy actually. So then it started making primary sell side liquidity here, here, there, and so on and so forth over here in this area too. So much of it was hit, swept, that I'm just looking at it thinking, this is building up liquidity. But I'm jumping the gun here. My first thought process was just, looking at whatever magnet or key area is closest to price to really go with that idea. So I was thinking that since we have the new week opening gap right below it, I wanted to see price trade down to it, and then I would buy at the bottom or past it, and then see what happens from the ground up. And with that, now I can go into 8 o'clock through 9:30 with the idea of me going long. The first presented what we got here, the first presented order block right here act as a wall or a way for price to break through when it comes to it. Started marking up this fair value gap, this sell side fair value gap, to really just use it as a kind of like a safety net to when price is getting close to the primary buy side liquidity, just in case it wants to come back up and then explode down after sweeping primary buy side liquidity. So after I drew it there and just dragged it over, I see that price started again sweeping, taking out, collecting liquidity here. Right here at 8:15, it rejected the order block the first time perfectly, and that's where I seen this nice little sweep move. I'm not gonna lie, when I first approached it, I was thinking like, this looks like a pretty decent trade. This looks pretty nice. This could be an early setup just to buy and get off. Because mind you, I was already kind of like tired and everything, so my mentality was just like, I just want to be done trading. I was definitely mentally fatigued and tired physically, because of driving. But I seen that, and I instantly started growing a little bit of FOMO, but I controlled it and said, you know, just because I see a little good move, don't mean I need to chase it, or don't mean I need to get in the first thing that I see. So I sat there and waited and watched it, and it took a lot out of me to just not press a button. So I just sat there screaming internally to not press a button. So I didn't press a button. But when it did come back down and not rejected, and it actually came in, the order block broke it, and now it started rejecting that area where the order block was broken. I was instantly thinking like, well, scratch the part of the rejection part. When it broke the order block, I started thinking, hey, this could be the chance for my sell to go down, because again, I know that price wants to come down to the new week opening gap, but I was kind of rushing because I was tired to just not trade today. Well, not trade today, but to finish trading, just take my one trade and get on skedaddle. But in this case, because I wasn't really super focused or aware or awake, really, I ended up just letting that trade get enough breathing room to take me out. So it did come back down, this huge wick here, and created another primary sell side liquidity after sweeping this guy out too. So it came back up, and I just, sat on my hands. I did take a second trade here, thinking that it was going to reject, because I was projecting out the wick, the huge oddball wicks, and seeing if it would actually get caught in the black hole here, the new week opening gap, but that wasn't the case. So already at a disadvantage right there. So when price finished completely going up but did not take out the primary buy side liquidity, it was just, I locked my account after that and took it with a grain of salt. Over time, price did come down around to 930, did sweep the primary buy side liquidity. That would have been a perfect entry for a sell, but I was looking for longs, and it tanked to and past the new week opening gap that I was originally targeting, and went ahead and created a huge wick here, saying that price has reached a certain threshold or a certain area where it's tired or it needs more gas, or it's basically saying like we can't go any further. So this area right here is super sensitive. All this behind it is super sensitive. So I just came back, looked at it, measured the wick and the consequent encroachment of it, and just wanted to see if or when price would come back to that area right there of the wick being exhausted for a possible long, with my original thought process of price coming to the magnet of the new week opening gap. I would basically target the outside skirts of it, or the consequent encroachment, and could target the new primary buy side liquidity that it created from the previous one swept, but that one would be kind of stretching it. But it depends on if there was actual news or anything that could really influence the market to blow up like that. But other than that, it didn't work out that way. So we only got the consequent encroachment of the new week, and after that, should be done trading for the day. But that is basically it, though. I did learn that I did stick to my ideal thought, and then when I started getting a little tired and just sitting here waiting and watching price kind of consolidate a little bit, of just going back and forth, it did kind of make me a little all right, I want to be done trading today if it's going to keep doing this. So that's my fault for not being too well, for one, not getting enough sleep, but two, kind of being aware, having that situational awareness of if price is going somewhere, it does take time, and that does mean either at 8 or at market open. And if I'm on the charts at 7, that means I have to wait 2.5 hours for it to actually make the move, or wait until 10 for the actual move that I'm looking for. So today was just it wasn't even a mental battle today. It was more like I'm just tired and needed to just not trade today on Monday for not being too awake. But other than that, it's just another lesson that doesn't define me, but it does help me grow closer to what was honestly working best for me, or what is working best for me. Because this strategy, this concept is very, very powerful, and it does work. It's just the only variable that changes is me. So with good intentions and just showing up every day, I know that it will work. But other than that, that's all I got for you guys. And